Nice guys, why do they finish last? Is it that they're pushovers? Is it that women prefer bad boys? If so, why? But the idiom says that nice guys finish last. So I'm on a mission today to understand why that is the case. Or is that just a falsehood? That's today's topic on the Mars Mindset. Let's get someone in here and find out why do the nice guys finish last? And if there's something that we can do to rectify that situation for all the nice guys out there. Dr. Hawk, how you feeling?
Hey,
How you feeling?
good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. For those of you who are in the room, if my audio is okay and Dr. Hawk's audio is okay, please put a 1 or some flowers or something in the chat to let us know that everything's working fine. The reason I say that is because my Friday show, my audio was terrible. It was off. It was scratchy. And I wasn't able to post it to YouTube because of that. I can't even edit it to fix it. So if you can hear me okay, I need a 1 in the chat. Appreciate you, Miss Tanya McIntyre. Steph's in the room. I know she'll let me know if the audio is okay. So Dr. Hawk, don't say Dr. Hawk, why do nice guys finish last?
I don't know if they finished last, but
They don't finish first.
I want to say for me, I don't like a street dude, but I like somebody that has, a little rough around the edges, a little swag, because you kind of feel like, I don't know, that's just me.
Okay, so nice guys don't finish last, but they don't finish first because you need someone you like someone who's a little rough around the edges.
Just a little bit. That's,
Okay, so then, Dr. Hawk, we've never met in person before. We just met here recently within the past month or so. Would you consider me to be a nice guy?
Yeah, I consider you to be a nice guy, but you got a little swag with you. You're not all like buttoned up. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So when we say nice guy, we're talking about is it that a nice guy doesn't seem like he could be protective enough? Like if something went down, like you'd be like, oh God, I might have to fight to save his life too. So okay, so is there something between a nice guy and a bad boy? Is that what somebody like myself or Mr. Tom is? We're like somewhere between a nice guy and a bad boy.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think if a woman had a choice between a nice guy and a bad boy, do you think they would choose the bad boy over the nice guy because at least the bad boy could protect them?
I think that, yeah. I mean, no, I don't think they would choose to, but I think, and I guess I've been like this all my life, is I need somebody that kind of meets in the middle, that fits in the middle. But I think with some of the young girls, they like that roughness. They like that, that bad boy mentality. But as you get older, you get more mature.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think what happens though is I think some women get the nice guys early on, or the nice guys want them, right? And they don't really pay the nice guys attention. And then by the time, the nice guy is their speed, the nice guy is already married and moved on. And then I think some of these women, they'll get on the internet and whatever and complain about there being no good men. And I'm like, well, you had the good men. He was too nice for you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like your fault, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of sucks, I guess, for the woman. I guess it doesn't really suck for the nice guy. So if one of your sons let's say one of your sons were a nice guy, and we're talking about the kind who's too buttoned up, what advice would you give him in order to And he was having problems. He's like, I like these women, but they don't really give me no play. And in your mind, you're like, yeah, you're too nice. You're too much of a nice guy. What advice would you give him?
But there are women out there that like the nice guy. I would say you may need to um, change the pool that you're swimming in as far as what you're looking for. Because I will say, when my son was a teenager and he's a nice kid, I used to be like, these girls too fast for my boy. For some of the ones that he liked. And I was like, but I think that what he was looking for or what he was attracted to, I'm like, it's other people out there, because I do believe it's somebody for everybody. So
Yeah, I was thinking about that. How I think sometimes with nice guys like women that are quote unquote out of their league.
mm-hmm.
And when I say out of their league, I don't really mean like above. I just mean unequally yoked or unequally matched, right?
Yeah.
And but typically that, I think from a guy's perspective, that gets looked at like a beauty thing, right? Like a physical thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you think about a nice guy, and if you were to give an extreme example, someone, I guess you could say like Beyonce, that's probably not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Hold on, let me see something.
I'm
But
sorry, I'm in the middle of eating. So.
oh no, it's all good. You can eat on my show. You want me to go get some? I got some pistachios, some walnuts. I could get some walnuts too, so that way we could both be eating. Arika,
Hello.
how you feeling? Happy Monday.
I'm
Hey.
great. Happy Monday to you as well.
Yeah. Why do nice guys finish last?
I think, like you just said, I think they really be picking females that's like out of their league. And I mean, like you said, on that level of, unequally yoked.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of times they'll get the nice guy get a girl, and they not even on the same level when it comes to a lot of like things. And then I feel like they kind of stray away from even trying to get or reach her level because it seemed like it's too far off. And then they just like kind of disappear. That's my perspective.
Mm.
And you can say the same thing about women, but we talk about guys.
You think, okay? So not to change the conversation up, but you saying that nice girls finish last too? Nice ladies finish last?
Yes,
I disagree with that.
I
I'm
think
sure
so.
there's cases where
I mean,
you
it's not
know.
a lot, but it has been cases of it.
Yeah. But I think that when you're a nice guy, it's easy for a woman to run over you, right? And or
Right.
even if you're just nice to her, right? And she doesn't see you be somewhat of a somewhat rough around the edges in some aspect of your life, then in her mind she can just run over top of you. I think that and these are just my opinions and the things I've experienced. And like Dr. Hawk said, I'm a nice guy. I'm a mama's boy, right? So I got my feelings hurt early on. But what it does is it turns you into a bit of a savage. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but I think that what's y'all's opinion? Because I think that women don't really want a man that they look at and feel like they could run over him. Is that true?
I've heard that um in my 20s from an older female. Like she was married and um her husband was super nice. Like super nice. Anything she asked for, she got. And she ran over top of him. Like man caught her cheating, he stayed. Not once but multiple times he stayed. It was to the point where she asked for a divorce. He even gave her the divorce. And on his deathbed, he still wanted that woman. And I just looked at it like, wow, you have someone that really gives you everything you could possibly ask for, not just on like a physical or materialistic, just on every level, and that's what you do. And at that time, I looked at it like, yo, you crazy. Like, but I'm younger than her. She's probably like her late 30s. I'm like my early 20s. And I just was like, well, why would you do something like that? Because he ain't gonna do nothing about it. And it was her exact words. And I was like, well, just because he ain't gonna do nothing about it, don't mean that that gives you the right to do what you want. Because guess what? That very thing that you know you taking for granted, you gonna wish you had.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what wound up happening. That's
Yeah,
exactly what wound up happening.
I think that happens to a lot of. I think that happens to a lot of women. I got another question for y'all though, and then I'll let you continue on. If you had a choice between a guy that you respected, right, or you respected him, but you ain't really like him, right, or a guy that you like but you didn't really respect, which one would you take?
Well, that's hard for me to answer because it don't matter what guy I'm with. I'm gonna always respect him as long as he giving me that respect.
Mm-hmm.
So, even when I did not like a gentleman that I was dealing with, like I wasn't, like look wise, I wasn't attracted to him. I still showed him the same amount of respect because we're human, right? So that's a little tough one for me. I'm gonna give you respect regardless.
Okay, Dr. Hawk, is it the same for you? You gonna give respect regardless, but
Yeah,
you can run over the guy, you still gonna respect him?
I am. But yeah, but I have no relationship with somebody I don't like.
Hey, Marchello, mute your mic right quick.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be in a relationship with somebody I don't like, but I would still respect them. But like, is it Arika, right?
Yes.
Like she said with the young lady, that man let the woman kind of run all over him, and we talked about this before, and that's the danger of love, because sometimes when we love so hard, we let ourselves get taken advantage of.
Marchello, you can unmute your mic now.
Woo!
How you feeling, my brother?
I'm good.
Okay, good. Let me ask you this. Why do nice guys finish last from a guy's perspective?
Because I don't really think nice guys finish last. I think only in a certain age group that holds true. Because as they mature and older, they want the ability, they want that guy to them right and do them right.
Mm-hmm.
Notice I said with maturity, not with age. With maturity.
Yes.
Okay,
The
so
nice guys finish last is probably in the teens and the 20s and the young 30s, and I'm stretch this decade with the 30s, but that's because women want that exciting guy. They want that thuggish guy. They want that guy that's entertaining. You know what I mean? Or
yeah,
pop.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm finished.
I agree with you, but this is what I think happens. I think nice guys in their teens, 20s, and sometimes in their early 30s get stepped all over, put up with a little too much, right? And then they become the not so nice guy. I think that's how the nice guys who you can't run over become the guys the women in their 30s and 40s want.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's how I was. I'm like I said, I'm a mama's boy, so I was a really I'm still a person, you know what I'm saying? But as a kid, I was like real nice, shy, quiet, didn't want to ruffle any feathers. And in a lot of ways, I'm still the same way. But I've gotten to the point now where like, oh, you're not just gonna walk all over me. And that don't mean I'm gonna punch you in the mouth, though I will if I have to, right? But as a kid, I was the type I would just cry. But now I'm a cop. So it's like I can't be that way. And after getting my heart broken, early on, I'm like, oh, hold on, all of this running over stuff, this not gonna fly. So now I guess the nice guys gotta get a little taste of what it is to be a bad boy and then learn how to like stay in the middle so that the women will want them.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Balance.
So, do you have any kids, Mikhail, any boys who are nice, who are too nice?
I think I failed my boys. I'm telling you.
What? How?
I try to show them by example. I think my boys just are not dating material.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean, I give you an example. They went to the movies, right? And took some girls out to the movies. They not girlfriend and boyfriend. They just friends. You know how you get to know, courting or whatever you want to call it, right? And when they get to the movie they want to see is a certain age. The girls forgot their ID. Instead of going to a different movie, they left the girls on the outside of the movies and they went inside the movies to see the movie. I was like, I did not raise y'all like this.
City boys up?
They justified it by saying they're not our girls. We didn't forget our ID. It's not our fault. They did respect the mama when the mama came up there, though. They didn't go off on her. She kind of went off, but they didn't go off back. So I gotta give them praise on that. But they really just left them out. They go to the other movie by themselves. They went to the one they wanted to see and said they'll meet back up when they come out.
Dr. Hawk, I know you got something.
Nah, I'm just like, that's savage stuff to do.
That's what I said.
But I'm glad you talked to them and said you ain't raised them like that and had that conversation.
Right. I told them I was disappointed in them, you know, and I said, y'all owe them an apology. And y'all need to make that up some kind of way if they allow you to, you know. But, yeah, they not dating material.
How old are they?
Huh?
How old are they?
19 and 18.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, they supposed to know better.
Right.
But I did raise them to be brutally honest. You know what I mean? And they projected how they feel. Look, we waited all week to see this movie. Y'all left your ID. Y'all could have did A1, go get it and come back because they were the ones driving, right?
Who was driving?
Huh?
Who was driving? The girls?
Yeah.
And they didn't go back and get it?
Don't ask me to figure it out. I don't even try to figure out Generation X or the millennials. I don't even try.
They don't make them like they used to.
So, Dr. Hawk, you got a 19-year-old daughter, don't you?
I do.
Okay, so imagine this. Hypothetical, right? Your 19-year-old daughter, hold up, Mikhail, they drove the whole group to the movies?
No, they met.
Okay, so your daughter drives herself to the movies to meet up with this guy, but she forget her ID, so she can't get into the movie. And he just going to the movie without her. What you telling her?
I don't gotta tell her nothing because you know she got
know.
a firecracker. So I have to tell her anything she would know because she'll cut a person off like what's this?
Mine will too. Mine definitely will do that. And she 20. And yeah. She wouldn't have went for that. Most definitely. Wouldn't have went for that.
Okay, so Mikhail has bad boys already.
I got daughters. They wouldn't have went for it.
So let me ask you this, and then I'm gonna bring my man Tyrell in because he's asking to come in. What is it that y'all think that attracts young ladies to bad boys?
Ignorance, because they don't know no better.
And usually it's the bad boy that is most noticeable. Again, I got caught up with let me make sure my son not around here, with a sperm donor myself.
It's the excitement.
Right.
You know?
It's somebody I grew up with, and when I grew up with him, it was that bad boy thing that make you notice, you know, it's how sometimes that bad boy thing is how they stand out. And,
go ahead.
And as I became an adult, that bad boy.
Hold on, Dr. Hope. We can't hear you because it's cutting it. Hey, Mikhail.
I am.
Yeah, hit that joint for me. What do you say, Dr. Hope?
it was that bad boy that you notice, and it's like all the girls, oh, he's a bad boy, he stands out, everybody like him. And then the other thing too was like, oh, his girlfriend back then was probably who we thought was the prettiest girlfriend, this, that, and the other. And when it came to a point when we were adults and that person again, you saw them like, oh, they want me now. I made the mistake and realizing that was the worst thing I did in my life.
Okay. I was about to call you Erica. Erika, what were you gonna say?
For me, it was more so that the protection aspect of things. Like, he wasn't gonna let anybody do or say anything, and sometimes that could be it. Like, it ain't always about the money, but for me, that's what it was about. It was more so like he was strong and his name held some weight where he was at, for real. At the end of the day, like, a lot of times it's more so it's the money, like she said, like, the flashiness.
Yes.
A lot of times that's what girls want. But I never really been into you guys that had like a lot of money or the nice cars. Like, that don't do nothing for me. But you not put some fear in somebody. All right, come on, we can talk, make something happen. That's how I was back in my teenage years.
And I kind of try to push my daughter away from that. And I hate to use the word thug to describe, a man or one of them street boys, because again, these kids, they're crazy. They've had 2 friends here who got shot up sitting in the car with these dudes that's into that life. Like, and I don't want that for my child,
All right, this is what we're gonna do. I got 2 people trying to get in, so we're gonna have you leaving, Marchello? I can't hear you. You got hit the unmute button.
I'm gonna drop off for a second. I'll come back.
All right, so 2 people gotta drop off because I gotta get 2 people in. So who of between? Hey, how are you?
Hi.
How you feeling?
Good.
Are you the daughter?
Yeah, that's my daughter.
Hey, don't be dating no thugs. Dr. Thugs.
All right, I can hop off because I gotta get ready to drive. I'll come back if you need me to.
All right, that's cool. I'll bring you back up in a minute.
All right.
Appreciate you.
No problem.
Off too, but
let's see. I know Tyrell wanted to come in. Did I accept that? Yeah, I hit accept, Tyrell. And then too good to be true. Let's see who can break through the Mars mindset. Who we got here? Who came in?
Tyrell,
what's up, man?
Nothing much. What's going on, guys?
You okay? You sound kind of down. You need a group hug? We give you a group hug.
No group hug needed. No group hug needed.
Okay. Hold on. Just give me 1 second, because I think somebody else was trying to get in. Let me see. I don't want to give everybody a chance to say peace. Well, while we waiting, Tyrell,
what's going on?
Why do good guys finish last? You seem like a nice guy. Not good guys, nice guy. You seem like a nice guy like myself. Why do we finish last?
It depends, because I went through my phases of going from like really nice guy to not extremely bad boy, but I was on the verge, and then I came back to the middle. And I would say the reason why is because at that point, because that was, I believe the gentleman said it beforehand, in the younger years, I would just let females walk all over me.
Okay, so you started out as a nice guy. You went to the brink of being a bad boy, and then you kind of peeled it back so that you landed somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, because ironically, the funny thing is, me and my fiance went to the same college around the same time, and our running joke is, if I would have met her then, we wouldn't have been where we are.
So when you were a nice guy, give me an example of something that you felt you did as a nice guy that allowed women to treat you the way they did?
I was young and always a workaholic, so I always had decent money. So I was the guy who would just buy whatever. You wanted food, got it. You wanted the big behind teddy bear, got it. Dumb Valentine's Day, did it. All the other stuff, you name it, I did it. I done it, and it just evolved from there.
So you was doing too much, Dr. Hope.
Yeah.
Dr.
Yeah.
Hope, that leads me to a question for you. How important is it for a man to be able to, not necessarily to do so, but to have the gall to tell a woman no?
Oh, I think it's extremely important. Because I don't want a yes man, and I want somebody, even though I may not like it, I'm okay with having somebody to call me out on my stuff every now and then to
Mm-hmm.
reflect, because that helps me become a better person.
Hey, Tyrell, mute your mic right quick. Say the ending part again, Dr.
I
Hope.
think because somebody that can come to me and tell me when I'm wrong or correct me or let me know, because it helps me grow as a person myself if I have somebody. Because if you just get a man that's just going to say yes to you all the time, like I said, I like to have a man to be able to call me out on some stuff, because I don't it's some I'm not perfect, even though it might seem like it, but to let me know when I'm wrong, so it'll help me do some self-reflection. And it's funny because my husband does it too, but now that my son is an adult, he does it too, respectfully, but I appreciate it
When they tell you no.
when he tells me no, or when he's able to call me out on my stuff, because it's self-reflective. But again, I don't want no yes man. Now, my son not allowed to tell me no, but he'll call me out on some stuff. No.
Oh, so he can't tell you no, but he can't let you know about yourself.
Yeah, not my son.
Dr. Hall, you say he can't tell you no? That's not fair.
That's
not fair.
He can't tell me no.
That's not fair. Because I had to learn how to tell my mom no.
That are unreasonable when it comes to them.
Say that again, Dr. Hope.
I don't ask things I don't make unreasonable requests from them. So, I don't. Not from my son.
See, I don't even believe that.
You're a principal. So everything in your mind is reasonable.
No. I don't ask for an unreasonable request from him. I do not.
Okay. So Tyrell, you still there?
Yep, I'm still here.
Tell me about the very moment that you knew, like, I'm too nice of a guy. How did that? What did that entail? How did that feel? What did that look like?
Oh, so this story is, jeez. So my high school junior prom, I took this young lady asked this young lady to go to my junior prom with me. She said yes, and pretty much me and my same MO. I bought everything. Got her hair done, bought her dress, bought her ticket, bought the undergarment she needed for her dress, got her makeup done, bought the ticket, rented the car, did everything. Got to my prom, and she complained the entire time.
Oh.
And on top of that, I caught her texting someone else, pretty much like being really disrespectful. So at that point, my MO like shifted immediately, and I was just like, let's go. Took her home, dropped her off back at the house, and went back to my prom. And her parents called my mother and was just like, is Tyrell back home? What happened? Did the prom get shut down or anything? And the mom was just like, no. I'm assuming he's still at the prom. And she's just like, why? And they're like, oh, well, she's here. And Tyrell's not.
So did they ever
So
find out what she was doing as to why she was home now?
I never told them the full story. I just told them that she was trifling. And that's where Tyrell Savage came from. Like that very moment turned Tyrell into like the savage. Kind of proceeded to like, I'll say maybe about 23, 24.
20 until about 23, 24?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. So in that time frame, what did the destruction look like? Like, was it that bad? Like, were you telling women no to things that you really, in retrospect, should have?
Yeah, I lost a lot of respect for women at that time.
Ooh.
I lost a lot of respect for women in just in general. So like for me in dating, it no longer was about even having an emotional connection. It was just like, what can I get from you? And once I'm done getting what I want from you, you're no longer useful for me.
Oh, clutch my pearls, Mr. Tyrell.
So it was a drastic change because I went from like very caring, very like, oh, let's talk about it, let's figure this out, to like no care in the world.
Dr. Hall, what do you think about that?
I'm like, you let past baggage follow you into new relationship, past hurt.
Oh yeah, I was bad.
Tyrell.
It was bad. It was bad. It was a bad season. But then I started realizing, like, of course, after that moment, I went through life transitions. I started getting more involved than I was in church. I was always a church kid, so I had two personalities. So it was just like church was one thing, but then outside of church was a whole nother person. But when I really started like having the consistency of like, okay, this isn't just a one-sided street and we're going to actually have it through and through, that's when everything started changing.
Hey, Dr.
Yeah.
This is very important, the story that he's telling, because I think this story is very similar to a lot of younger guys, right? And I think that it's important because, you know, as boys and men, we're told to care about women's feelings and stuff like that, and we're told to actually suppress and repress our own. But a significant amount of the savages or the savagery that occurs from men to women comes from men who are avoiding being hurt again. Right? So, and I'm not talking in statistics, I'm not talking about percentages in these particular situations. I think something that has gotten overlooked is the accountability for the younger women who have caused these men to feel the way they feel. Because once a man feel pain, he ain't really, especially emotional pain, like we ain't trying to go through that again.
I can get that. I can feel that. I can feel that.
Yeah. I think, go ahead.
But I was gonna say it could be the same for some women too. But again, I think that women like the companionship and want to be in a relationship after they've been hurt, but they do go in with some, I'm not going to take this, or this, but they're still willing to be in a committed relationship. But after a man's been hurt, I can feel that. I can feel that.
I think, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think, I don't know. I think and I'm trying to figure out the right way to put this, but a large part of a man's ego gets destroyed if he's like a nice guy and he's doing all the things he's supposed to do, and then he gets hurt, and the destruction is usually lasts for a while,
right?
You know, and then on top of that, even once the destruction is over, it's like it still takes a good woman to be able to help him kind of unsuppress it and unrepress it and be okay with the pain, you know?
Right. Because both of my boys, even though they may have not done that, but I've heard them kind of say that out of their mouths after like a breakup, or they thought it was going to be a breakup or something like that. So they, well, my oldest boy, for a minute, he was like, F it. He was doing, but he found him a girlfriend. But that's like my other son, when he thought that he was going through a breakup, he's just like, forget a relationship. I don't want to have to go through this, anymore. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know after I got my heart broke the first time, I went on like I had like a 2-year run of just
Hold 'em.
What'd you say?
A 2-year run of hold 'em.
Of hold 'em? Is that what you say? Hold 'em?
Yeah,
Hold 'em.
being a man whore, 2-year
Oh,
run.
it was pretty brutal. It was pretty savage, it was pretty savage. But I mean, but the thing about it is, now that I think back on it though, I didn't know it at the time. I didn't know that I was this way because I was avoiding hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't, my parents probably didn't really know what was going on, or because I wasn't coming home telling my parents what I was doing, stuff like that. But it just makes me wonder, did anybody, because I worked amongst older men, you know what I'm saying? Older men, they're just older people. And it makes me wonder, did any of them kind of see it? Because sometimes you can see it in younger men, like, hey, dog, I know your feelings hurt, but this ain't it. But it took me a while to kind of get over it, I guess. So I don't know. So Tyrell,
It does take a minute to get over, but it also, like, now that I can see it from a mile away, as in, like, I'm not that much older, but now that I've worked my way through it, I can identify that thing from 10 miles back and be like, bro, yeah, you're on some time. You need to do some self-reflecting before you start being toxic and ruining people.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think but now that I think about it too, I'm not sure that there's anything that anybody could say to somebody at that point to help them actually see it. Like when you in the middle of, if I think back to 6-7 months after I got my feelings hurt, I don't think there was anything that anyone could have said to me to make me change or see that the way I was acting was out of pain. Because it was fun, right? It's not like I wasn't enjoying it on some level, right? Maybe if I had a therapist or something, or like a big brother type figure that I really genuinely like looked up to.
But sometimes hurt will turn your heart cold for a minute.
Yeah. So let's flip it though, Dr. Hulk. When nice girls get hurt, how do they typically respond?
When nice girls get hurt, how do they respond?
In that younger, a little bit, you get a little bit older, it's a little different, right? But I'm talking about when you.
I think that they're really distraught. It's harder for a nice girl to come up out of being hurt.
You think? Say that again.
I think they're usually distraught, because a nice girl typically may put more trust in, their man or their significant other, and then when they're hurt, it's like they're distraught. Because I consider myself to be a nice girl,
Right.
Growing up, I was that good girl, that nice girl. But it was one of those things where when I was hurt, I was distraught, but it did cause me to say, I will never trust a man to this extent again.
Arika,
Is it fair?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, at first I didn't see me. I was
Oh,
talking, so I was like, "What happened?"
just
I seen the request.
yeah, oh no, you sent it. It's all good, but we just to let you know we can't see you if you wanted to be on camera. If not, that's cool too.
Oh,
Dr. Hall, I have a question now. So
Yes.
would you say that it is when a nice girl is hurt that she hurts a nice guy, so therefore it brings this perpetual cycle of I hurt you, you hurt me, but we're taking it out on the wrong people?
So I'm saying like for a nice girl, and I don't know if I understood your question, but like I said, when it was for me, when I was hurt, I was distraught. But I went into my other relationships, and even with my husband, it's like I had the attitude of I love you. I only trust you to a certain extent because it's me shielding my heart. Whereas I can't put my trust on this person to say that they would never hurt me again, because if they do, I'm going to have that much pain. So I kind of, went into relationships like, well, if it happens, shielding myself, don't be shocked if it happens. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like distraught after I was cheated on, like in college. And like to the point, like, I can't believe he did this to me. But now it's like, only trust a man as far as you can throw him, kind of thing. And
But
but
is it the do you
go ahead.
think that nice men or excuse me, hurt women hurt men who end up hurting women? So do you think it's a cycle? Like almost like where was it the chicken or the egg first?
No, I don't think so. It depends on who you are. Like what I like. I felt as though I was a nice girl. I think my daughter got a little savage in herself. So I think that if she, she would be that type. It wouldn't be I wouldn't trust them, but she gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna do me, kind of thing. That's what I see in her. So,
But so real quick, and I'm gonna let Arika go. Um, I think I agree with Dr. Hulk though, because I think what women will typically do is build up a wall. So they
mm-hmm,
begin to play defense, right? They build up. If you think of your heart or your emotions as like a castle, they're gonna put a moat around it. They're gonna throw some alligators in it, crocodiles, and they're gonna build a wall and make it harder for anybody to get in. And if someone does get in, they're gonna be like, yeah, you come out, hang out here, and all of that good stuff. But I only trust you to a degree, right? I
mm-hmm,
think dudes, when we get hurt, we go on offense, right? So as long as I'm playing offense, I ain't really got to worry about getting hurt, because all I'm really worried about is scoring. If I'm scoring, we good, right? I ain't worried about my emotions have been so suppressed that I ain't worried about them getting hurt in any way, shape, or fashion. But I also think some of that may be societal conditioning.
mm-hmm.
I think because women from a young age are taught to seek out um, relationships and love, right? So it's like deep down, it's not always going to work, so it's okay. But as young boys, we're not taught to seek out love and attention and affection and monogamy and all of those things. We
Mm-hmm.
playing with GI Joes or whatever it is, the video games or whatever. So it may be more of a shock to us to get our feelings hurt than it is for a woman. But that's just my opinion. Arika, what's good? What were you saying?
So I was saying that pertaining to the question, um, pertaining to like women getting hurt, or the good girls being hurt. I feel like it to some degree. You have women out here, such as myself. I've been hurt a lot, right? And I still seek love, and I go into it with an open heart. And yes, I'll have some sort of fear to a certain degree, and then I think about how fear and love can't dwell in the same place, right? And I'll put myself out there, and I feel like guys don't really want a good woman. Like, I really genuinely feel like some guys really don't want a good woman. Because you'll have that, and I know my shortcomings, options, and I'll put it on the table without any hesitation, right? And I didn't have men say, "Oh, you're such a good woman. You're a great woman. You're wife material," and they kind of back off because that's not what they're ready for. Which I could understand that, and I respect them for telling me these things too. But don't think you're gonna have access to me after you tell me that. Because now, if you don't want something serious, then what are we doing? I'm not gonna waste my time. But a lot of times you have men that has been hurt, like you said, and they don't trust a good woman. When they get one, they don't recognize it because they're so afraid of that person potentially hurting them. So it's like half and half. Like you can't expect something good if you're dwelling on the potential, heartbreak. If that's all you're dwelling on, then you're gonna, like again, back into manifesting like that hurt. So I try to go into things with an open mindset and an open heart. And yes, you're gonna have those thoughts that, what if this guy hurt me, or what if he's telling me a lie or whatever. And then you just reprogram it. Look, at the end of the day, if this person lied to you, it don't have anything to do with you. Nothing. And then when you see that, and you just be like, all right, whatever. I'm like, whatever. If he lied, he lied. What's done in the dark always gonna come to light. The type of person I am, I tell guys, it's like, look, if you want to deal with me, I'm telling you now, just be upfront with me, because I'm gonna find out. And it's not because I'm checking. I just how connected I am, right? And I always find out things. Not looking for them, they just come to me. They find me. Let's say that. And that lets me know, like, okay, well, this person wasn't for me. I don't take it as like, oh, something is wrong with me. It was God protecting me from something that what they weren't ready for and I wasn't ready to deal with. So I just, I let it be. I still have a heart to love because that's what God gave me. We was put here to love, and now it's just like waiting for that person.
Rod wants to know, what do you mean by a good woman?
A good woman that's gonna uplift, pour into, protection. Any guy that I deal with, I have. What's that?
Hold on. I think that might have been Tyrell's GPS. Or was that you? That was you, Dr. Hawk? Oh, okay. Sorry, Tyrell. I didn't mean to put that on you. I thought that was Siri talking. Last time it was Siri telling you that it was traffic 750 feet ahead. But what were you saying, Arika?
So when any guy that I ever dated, I let them know, like, this is what I'm about. Very spiritual. I pray. I send, affirmations to uplift. Whenever even if they don't ask me to, this is just, I pour into the person I could potentially, see a future with, right? I'm very respectful, humble. I'm not the nagging type. You tell me that's where you're going, okay, I'm going to take you at your word. I'm not going to keep calling you and blowing your phone up. All I ask is you let me know you made it there safely, and that's it, right? I do everything that a woman is supposed to do.
So you do. So you're saying you do everything that a woman is supposed to do
when it comes to being a spouse.
Okay, and still, the guys who have been hurt will be like, yeah, I ain't really trying to do that.
Right, either they're not ready, because like I tell people, like I really had like the last situation I had. The guy told me basically, he like, you're also female, also woman. I see the wife in you, but it's just something I'm not ready for right now. And I said, okay, cool. He's like, well, maybe we can, meet up later on or what have you. And I just be like, okay, but I'm not gonna sit around and wait either. I'm not waiting for you. If you're not ready, do your thing. And I always tell guys, like, look, keep the same energy, and I'll keep the same. I'm going to keep my energy regardless, the same way. The way you meet me,
that's the way I am. Unless you see, if we're that deep in and you see that, okay, maybe something needs to be, altered, maybe something that you might not agree with, I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to take it in consideration and see if I can make that adjustment for you. Like, as for instance, I was working out, me and the guy was working out, I was hitting all my goals on my watch. He was like, well, since you're doing X, Y, Z, and you hitting them all, won't you up it a little bit? And I'm like, well, I'm comfortable right here. He was like, well, you can't see no progress if you don't up it. So I was like, all right, I thought about it, and then guess what? I upped my goals, right? So the next time he seen me, we shared like our information, he was like, oh, you listen, like it was a shock to him. And I'm like, I don't know what type of women you used to dealing with, but I'm just going to tell you, like, I feel like if I see the need for change, then I'm going to change it.
Okay. Hold on, because I won't get Dr. J. And Dr. J, what you and Rod got?
I was texting what Rod was saying. So he said what she may interpret, what Arika may interpret. I hate calling her that. What Pretty may interpret, that's what I used to call her. What she may interpret as being a good woman, a man may not interpret that as a good woman. Ain't that what you said, babe? Yes, that's what he said. He said that's what he was saying.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too, but it was something else that I was gonna add too, which is that men, we have the benefit of excess, right? We have the benefit of an excessive amount of quote unquote good women. So we have our pick litter, right? So if I can have a good woman, right, but I still want to play the field, the economics of it say, well, the chances are, even if she's not willing to wait for me to finish doing what I do, I can still find another good woman. I think that women, on the other hand, they're working in an economic realm of scarcity, meaning there's a few good men that they actually want. So when you find one, you have to, you might want to jump on that because somebody else is going to scoop him up. So based on that, it allows for guys to be like, I mean, for real, the average good black guy can probably have 5 good black women if he really wanted to. Dr. J don't like that.
I'm looking at you, but I'm listening. I'm looking at you, and I'm looking at Roy. So I'm looking at both of y'all.
Okay.
And I'm listening to the commentary as I'm listening to you as well.
Okay. Well, hold on one second. Tyrell, what's your opinion?
I see, that's a tough one because while I do agree, I also disagree.
You disagree with what?
The fact that women do not have the same quantity of good men available. I think what happens is, while there are good men out there, some good men just don't have the right mindset, going back to what the other young lady said, where they are good men, but they just don't want a good woman at that time or whatever their reasoning is. But there is, and this is the other side where I do agree, to say, you want to know what? At any given time, when a black man wants to become a good man from his trifling side, you can run into a lot of great women because generally women already are in the field looking for a good man to partner with.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dr. J.
No, Roy said he agreed with what you said, Charles, because he said, what did you say? Women, we overpopulate men.
Yeah, like I always use the black community, right? It's 40 million black people. If 51% of black people are women, that would mean that there's 21 million black women and 19 million black men. So if all black people were just adults and single, and we lined up all black men with one black, one black man with one black woman, there would still be 2 million black women just standing there, right? So, but then you have to account for the 30% of black dudes that are married, right? So I don't know what 30% of 20,
Yep.
I don't know.
Y'all in the 30%.
Yeah,
Yep.
you got 30% that are married. You got the 1 million or 800,000, between 800,000 and a million that are in prison, right? And then you have the gay dudes, right? So, and that's not to say that the available women aren't coming down, but they're not coming down at the same rate that the men are, because they already outpopulate the guys. So me and Dr. Hawk talk about this all the time on the show. They say the average, the numbers are like 1 to 5, but in actuality, it's like 1 to 8. Now, my question for Arika would be this though: you can be a good guy, but not be prepared to be in say a monogamous relationship. But if that's not what Arika's looking for, then he just classifies as a good guy. He's not a good guy that qualifies for a relationship. So he still falls into the pool of quote unquote not good guys, because he's not good for what she wants.
But just because you're not good for what someone wants at that time doesn't disqualify you for being good. Because there was a statement that I read a little while ago, and it was dealing with marriage, and they said a man may not want to marry a woman, not because he's not ready to be married, he just does not want to marry that woman. But the next woman that comes along that meets what he wants to marry, he'll therefore marry.
Yeah, but I agree. I don't disagree with that. I agree with you there. But from her perspective, he doesn't fit, so he's not good for her. So,
but that doesn't make him a bad guy.
You know how they say perception is reality, and I hate that because I'm a cop, right? And perception ain't always reality. But from her reality, those dudes who she knows they're good people, right? But they're not good for marriage. So that does her like it does me no good. It does me no good to have a good car that I can't drive. You see what I'm saying? So I agree with you. I'm just saying from her, it's like, well, what good does that do me?
It doesn't do you any good, but it's not this. My thing is, they're still a good person. They're just not good for you. So yes, you can use perception to qualify them, but your perception can only go but so far.
You broke up. Say that again.
I said your perception can only go but so far. So you cannot disqualify them for being a quote unquote bad guy because they're not ready to marry you individually. Because if this same individual, if we're just using, okay, well, they didn't want to proceed and get married. Let's just use that as the example. And they were still faithful. They were still able to do all the things that you wanted them to do. They just didn't want to marry you or the other person. That doesn't disqualify them for being a good person. They just was not good for you. Because you know how sometimes some people, or even on the far extreme, sometimes people are toxic with each other. Like you get a random couple and together they're toxic, but outside of that relationship they're not toxic, and they get in the next relationship and that next relationship is extremely healthy. I think that's the same. I kind of put that on the same plane.
Yeah, but I understand that. I'm not disagreeing with that. Like a good job. So who dropped off? Who's still here? Let me see who's still here. Oh, Tyrell dropped off. A good job is a good job, but if I can't have it, then what good is it for me? Am I right? Like, yeah, like if a billionaire is handing out a bunch of money, he might be a good guy, but when I show up to get my money, he's like, nah, I can't give you none. Hey, that don't do me no good. Am I right, Arika?
Yeah, you're right.
Ross says you're right.
You're right.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how we're defining. I understand what he's saying. He's saying on a macro scale, it's all good, bro. He's saying on a macro scale, he could still fall under the qualification as a good guy. Okay, cool. We can all agree that you're a good guy. But if that don't benefit us, then we don't really care that you're a good guy. You're just a good guy that Eureka can't have, which puts you in the pool with pretty much a bunch of not good guys. So what does it matter? You still fall into the I can't get cool or whatever. Hold on, right? So hold on 1 second. Hey Tyrell, I'm gonna get you back in a second because where'd she go to? Here we go. Jesse want to reset the conversation. Lil said, but you're not an available guy, which means he's off limit. And that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about in practice. Like, if it doesn't matter what label I put on a thing, if I can't use that thing for what I want to use it for, it doesn't matter whether it's good or bad or whatever. If I want to use it,
if it's not going to be beneficial to me, like
yeah,
it don't matter.
An application, what good is it? Like I'm a good guy. I'm married. So it doesn't matter that I'm a good guy to anybody who wants me. I'm married. I still fall into the pool of unavailability. So now Eureka may not look at me and be like, oh, Chels is a bad guy, but the outcome is the same. A loss is a loss. It's like when they say, yeah, you played good. Yeah, we played good, but the intent
but we lost.
Win.
Right.
Right? I came to play good. Yeah, I came to play good. I would have actually played bad and won. Right? But anyway, it's all good. Jesse, what's happening?
What's going on, everyone?
How you feeling?
I'm feeling real good.
That's good. That's good. Why do nice guys finish last?
I hear that question all the time, but I don't think the reason they're finishing last is because they're good guys.
Not good, nice.
Nice.
And I thought it's important because I said good. I had it as good in my notes, right? I got a long list of topics. And I said, no, it doesn't say good guys finish last. It says nice guys finish last. So if there's a delineation, then I guess there's a delineation. If not, that's okay too in your mind. But what's your perspective? What are you bringing to the table of conversation?
Sure. Absolutely. I think for me, oftentimes I hear this conversation and I hear men stating like, feeling frustrated, like, oh my gosh, I was really into this girl and, I didn't get her because I was nice, or she doesn't like good guys. And I'm like, is it really because you're good that she doesn't want you? Or could it really be that you're just not that interesting? I don't know any woman that would be like, don't be nice to me, don't be kind to me. I don't like that. I've never run across a woman that didn't like to not be called outside of her name, or to not be said that she looks nice or whatever. I don't think it's because the guy is nice that they're choosing to put him last. There is something else about him, whether they're not connecting on a desirability level, or he's just not that interesting. It could be a number of other reasons, but I don't think it's because they're nice that they don't want them.
So, okay. Well, Dr. J, do you have something to say to that? You've been quiet. You and Rob been quiet for a while. You have something?
No, he's not been quiet. I've just been on mute.
Okay. What does Rod have to say?
What does he have? What do you have to say, Rod? They can hear you. No, what do you have to say? Okay. So he agreed with what what's her name? What's your name?
Jesse. It's okay.
Okay. He agreed with what Jesse said when she said that it could just be that they're just not that interesting. He agreed with that. I think that that's actually very true. I feel like I do agree with that. That it's just that they may not be that interesting. Like it's something. It's not necessarily because you feel you're a nice guy or you think you're a nice guy that it's, oh, you're finishing last. It could just be that you're boring.
Right.
No,
or that you're leading with your money and that's unattractive to the woman. Like,
right.
It could be a number of things.
Yeah, and Ross said it depends on the woman as well, too.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, like most relationships, most people only find one person, right? Like like if you think about it, you go into this dating thing, right? If the objective is to get married, you go through this whole dating thing, and the objective is to find one person. Like nobody gets married. It was like, yeah, it's going to be fun being divorced in 5 years. So you're going to go through a lot of relationships and interactions that don't really work. What I was going to say to Jesse though is, or ask Jesse is, would it be better if we replace nice guys with uninteresting guys?
I think that would be more accurate.
Okay, now ask you this, because you know me, I always got to find the back door, right? Are bad guys almost always interesting?
Yeah, 100%.
Right. So okay. So
Yes, they
while
are.
I agree with you, right? While I agree with you that we could probably replace nice guys with uninteresting, bad guys are never uninteresting because they're bad. There's always something. So all of the uninteresting guys are nice, right? So I think that's why it's easier to say
I
because
don't know if I would say that everyone that's uninteresting is nice. I don't know that I would make that correlation.
well, if they're not nice, then they wouldn't fall into the nice guys though.
I'm sorry, say that
But
again.
so okay. So I guess I'm thinking like both things can't be true, right? So let's just say we obviously we know in reality we have guys like me who are nice guys at heart, but you're just not gonna run all over, right? But let's just say for the sake of conversation, we have nice guys and we have bad boys, right? I think we agree that bad boys are always interesting. Do we agree there?
They're more interesting than a man that's uninteresting, but I
Yeah.
don't think there's a one size fits all for
That's
any.
the comparative analysis, and so in order for one guy to be a bad guy, there has to be some other guys who are nice, and that's what makes one the other. But what I'm saying is that
Okay.
if the bad guys are almost always more interesting, then right, then the nice guys, then the uninteresting guys, that means that almost always the uninteresting guy is a nice guy.
I don't know what you're trying to get from me, but for me, I'm saying that they don't always equate to the same thing. You could be nice and interesting, and you
Right.
can also be nice and uninteresting.
Right, but what I'm saying is that if almost all bad guys are interesting, right? We agree there. If almost all bad guys are interesting, that means all the uninteresting guys are nice. So they come to this conclusion because they're all sitting around like, oh, we're the nice guys.
I don't know what you want from me, Charles. I can't agree to that because you're talking to somebody who doesn't believe in always or nevers. Like, I don't believe anybody is always any one way or never a certain way.
I understand that, but what I'm talking about is in theory, in order to do a comparative, right? In order to do a comparative, we have to submit to one almost extreme and the other almost extreme. In order for us to contrast, because if not, then we could just sit in the middle and be like, let's all just get a guy who's nice but not a pushover. Conversation's done.
Right. He doesn't have to be a pushover. I'm just saying, like, that saying, I don't know where it came from because I don't know anybody that doesn't like somebody to be kind to them or nice to them. Like, no, don't be nice to me. Don't open the door for me. Are you crazy? Like, I don't know.
No, there are.
I've never encountered that. I've never encountered a woman that wants to be disrespected. Like, bitch, come over here. Like, I've never run across a woman like that.
Erika, you got the eyes like I know some people.
I know a few people.
Dr. J, I see you got y'all from Baltimore, so I know y'all
No.
already know y'all.
I am listening to my husband over here, and he is saying things, and I am laughing because he's speaking while y'all are speaking about what you're saying. So I am like, okay, because he said, what are we defining bad guys as? What is the definition of a bad guy when you say a bad guy? Yeah.
You're asking me? When I think bad guy, I think someone who pretends put you in a little bit of danger, right? Get you in a little bit of danger. Maybe there's enough disrespect to be considered to be a bad guy. There's enough no when there doesn't have to be a no, just for the purpose of saying no, just to be like, yo, you're not gonna tell me what to do, right? Or do this, a little bit more controlling. And we're talking about comparatively, right? A little bit more controlling than the nice guy. That's how I see the bad guy. The nice
Okay.
guy, right? And we're talking about extremes. So when we talk about the nice guy, we talking about the guy that's always like, oh, we can do whatever it is you want. I'm never gonna tell you no. Even when you're doing something that it's like, oh, it's okay because I like you. The guy that it can easily be run over.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
I
Yeah.
personally
I
don't like that. Like when somebody tell me, "Oh, we can do whatever you want to do." What? I be like, your opinion matter too. Like, is if we're like even when it come down to dates, whatever you want to do is fine with me. No, because what if I say I want to go put on a ballerina outfit and do some ballet? You gonna do that too? Like,
No,
right.
exactly. So,
Or that's a great example. What's your name, sweetheart?
Arika,
Arika. That's a great example of a guy that considers himself nice finishing last, because it's like you can't be decided, you can't be definitive, you can't be a leader, and for some women that's unattractive. It's like, where are we going? Or like, even on where are we going on a date? Where do you want to go? And it's like,
a back and forth. Can't do that.
you know what I mean? It's like
You
you can't
can't do
get
that
anything
because
done.
when I look at a man and what a man is supposed to be, a man is supposed to lead, right? So if you're taking me on a date, I feel like you should already have it at least
Together, planned.
three things that you could probably go to if I don't like one or the other, right? And you should have it laid out, right? Or at least we could have had a conversation maybe prior to what it is that I like, and then you could have came up with something like that. But don't say you want to take me on a date and then say, "Oh, we can go wherever you want to go." That's no, we're not. Because if
Or
I say I could go, I want to go in my room and lay down all day. You ain't coming in my room with me.
right.
So now we don't have a date.
Or let's meet here and we'll go with the flow.
Right.
No, I don't even know how I'm supposed to dress. Am I wearing heels? Are we walking? Like, what is happening? So you're not finishing last, and you could be saying all of these things in a nice way, right?
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's not interesting to do this back and forth, to do this dance. You know what I mean? So he could be nice, and for somebody else, that scenario could be interesting. But if that person that you're entertaining is not interested, you're not going to be interesting to them. I don't know if that makes sense.
yeah, I mean it makes sense, but
No, that makes perfect sense.
Thank you.
Perfect sense.
but I think what we're talking about is like indecisiveness.
It's still the nice guy is always, I feel like lately for me has been a guy that's been very indecisive, very much so.
Right. Well, that's what
and there's nothing wrong with being a nice guy. I'm not gonna like not talk to you or not deal with you because you're a little indecisive. I'm gonna simply have a talk with you and say, hey, I appreciate you taking me out on this date, but next time we go out, do you think that you can already know what it is that we're gonna do and not expect me to pick? Because I don't like to pick either. I don't like to be like, you put it back on me. I don't like that. So you could, a lot of times when you're nice, it's whatever that person want to do. It don't really have to be indecisive. When you're nice, you really just want to do whatever that person want to do because they feel like that's what's gonna make you happy. And that's not cool with me.
Right. You don't want to be appeased.
It's not the end all of, it's basically, okay, it's just a conversation. Like, okay, every time we go on a date, you're not gonna say, oh, we're gonna do whatever you want to do. I'm not that type of female because I don't look at, the little saying they say, a happy wife is a happy life. Okay, because at the end of the day, the person I'm with matters too. Yes, I'm a woman. Yes, I have needs, but the man also have needs and wants too, and I want to make sure they're met, right? So if you're gonna keep doing this, then I don't think this is gonna mesh well because I need you to be the man and lead. And there's nothing wrong with being nice, nothing. But at least have a backbone. Like you gotta have a backbone too.
So be a nice backbone.
Right, like you said that. Like when you was talking earlier, you was like you had to find the middle in between. Like have a balance.
Yeah.
It don't mean you gotta be a thug and be like no, we don't want all that. Just find a balance.
Right.
Yeah,
It's a nice balance between feminine energy and masculine energy.
Right.
And I think back to the original question, for me, I can't speak for anybody else. It's not because they're nice that they're finishing last at all.
Maybe they're not applying enough pressure.
Maybe they
right.
I said maybe they're not applying enough pressure to make their presence known because they're being too nice.
Right.
But that's
right.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying though. Like all of the qualities, whether it's indecisiveness or what was the other one we had, Jesse? What was the first one that you kind of touched on?
They're not that interesting.
Uninteresting, right? Those are typically qualities of nice guys as opposed to bad boys. Because a bad boy, like Arika, have you dated bad boys before?
My ex was the bad boy.
Right. And it was certain. Did he have a problem leading? Like telling you, like, hey, this is what we're doing?
He was too damn controlling.
Right. Right.
Too damn controlling.
Right. But to that point, though, he is the one that asked for your hand in marriage and you ended up marrying him, right? So
that's a whole nother story, but we wound up getting married.
Married, which means all of the other guys who weren't like him, who were indecisive.
It was never no other guys before him. I literally dated him in high school and we wound up getting married. I keep telling you this. Look, it wasn't nobody before him. It was just him.
So no other guys
for so long
talk to you?
Yes, they tried to talk to me, but I wasn't. So my upbringing was kind of like no boys, no nothing until this age, and I snuck and was saying I was sneaking to see him when I was in high school, and then we like just kept talking when we wasn't supposed to. Till my aunt found out, and make sure you know it. I got shipped from one aunt house to another aunt house, which that aunt allowed me to see him, and then I got pregnant, and then we was just together, and then we got married probably like 10, 11 years later down the line, and yeah. It wasn't no hand. There ain't nobody asked me for my hand in marriage. He was like, here the ring, like, and that was that. He went to the courthouse. It wasn't not. It was, but he was the bad guy. Definitely was like the bad boy.
Show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Rod is answering your wife's question.
Okay.
He said. So her question was, why do women regret leaving a nice guy later on in life? And Rod said, what you say? Because the bad guy winds up doing what happened to the nice guy. So you wind up regretting it because you did it to the nice guy, and then the bad guy kind of does it to you. So then you like, damn. Like, well, at least he would have did X, Y, and Z. Is that what you said? Something like that.
Nice guy.
He said right here, and I still ain't listening.
I think what happens to the nice guy is the nice guy's value increases as the bad guys continue to do work throughout time, right? And then indecisive and uninteresting aren't that bad comparatively. And that's why you end up seeing women later on in life like, man, like I lost a good one because of those things. And because of the simple difference in the ratio, the discrepancy in ratio of men to women, somebody has to end up with nobody. I know people say there's somebody for everybody. I don't subscribe to that, right? I mean, in applicability, right? Because if your soulmate's somewhere in Africa or somewhere in Australia, and you're never meeting them, then maybe there is somebody for you, but you don't get to meet them. So what good is that?
I mean, considerably. I'm just saying. I think it's just a.
He just said something that I found very profound. Did you hear it, Charles?
No.
What did you say? He said he doesn't think it's good guy. Why am I so? He doesn't think it's good guy or bad guy. He thinks it's what?
Good for you. or bad for you.
It's either
Good for
what
you and bad for you. Yep,
good
I
for
heard him
you
there.
and bad for you. That's what he
You're
said.
right, and he's right about that.
He's so right.
He's
I
right
just,
about that. But
I would,
unfortunately, like I just be praying, like God send me my good guy, please, because I had enough of the one bad guy. I'm over it.
Okay, let me ask
Don't
you
look for a good guy. Look for a good for you guy.
I know I'm not really
exactly.
looking. You're
Look for a
right,
guy
Rod.
that
I'm not really
complements
looking.
everything
I
that you
just
do.
said God, ask God to send him my way. That's all I ask. I don't want to go out there and look. I told myself I wasn't gonna look for or put my hand out like, look, I want to talk to you. I think you look good. I think you seem like a nice guy.
Right.
Let's go on a date. I'm not doing
You're
that
not
no
on
more.
me, Rod, just so you know.
Right. I think it's important, as women, whatever, if you're single,
Somebody
to
say
just be
both of us.
prepared to receive a good man. You know what I mean? I think the work for us is in the preparation, and for the guys it's to approach, and be prepared to be like, I'm interested in you. But as a woman, you have to be receptive or smile or let them know you're interested so that they can continue to pursue you. But what I wanted to add to Rob's comment is I don't really think that there's any one good or bad guy or individual or being. I just think we are journeying through this life, and there are some people that make bad decisions over and over again, and so maybe that person that makes bad decisions over and over
No.
again would be categorized as a guy that's not good for you, because you're like, these bad decisions are going to consequently impact me in a way that I just I don't want to be here for it.
Mm.
um but
well,
Like Charles has said before, um, when it came, you had said something pertaining to um, like a connection, right?
mm-hmm.
Having like you can date as many people as you want, whether
Hold
they
on.
are good or
Hey, doc,
bad.
hold on. Hey, Dr. J. Oh, she muted. Go ahead, Erika.
Oh, so I was saying, like you were saying about the connection, like we in the soulmate type thing, right? It's you can date, I don't know, a bunch of people, and if you don't have that connection, whether it be a good or bad, I feel like it's pointless to me. And it's very few people that you actually have a connection with. You get a few, I know that, but um with me, I mean I've dated some nice, I guess you could consider them nice guys, but if I can't feel that connection, then I can't continue on. And I feel like a lot of times we get sent tests like to see if we're willing to settle too for the very things that we said we wouldn't accept from one. Um, and that's when we get, I guess, the quote unquote bad guy, or the person is not for us, to see if that are we really like ready for what it is that we truly, genuinely need.
right.
So yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that I wanted to though is thinking about what you're talking about, Erika, is that I personally believe that women have more prerequisites for their guy than men have for their women, right?
Absolutely.
And it makes me wonder, are a lot of women out there, I don't know if the word is being too picky, or I don't know, waiting for like their dream guy to come along? Because it very well could be the case that the indecisive guy could be a really good guy for you, and you helping him, manifest his decisiveness could be a part of what helps him become decisive, and you end up being the beneficiary of his decisiveness.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? So that's
But
something
like,
about.
and see, like again, that's all good. I'm if it's not a connection, like
Mhm.
I don't know, it's for me, it's it's hard for me to date because I need certain things from a guy, and the thing that guys always want to put out there is money. I don't care about your money. I'm more like, I need to get a connection with you mentally.
Right.
Like, I need to have a dialogue with you mentally on certain levels. If I'm not feeling it, it's not gonna do nothing for me. Like, it's not gonna give. It's not giving me what I need. Like, I need somebody that's gonna feed my spirit too. Like, and if I'm sitting here and I'm saying I'm in church and you calling me or something like that, like I already told you I was gonna be in church today, right? All right, so why you calling me?
Because I like you. I miss you.
I'm in church though.
I don't care. I like you and I miss you, and I want you to know that.
And I invited you to be with me, and you declined.
Nah, because church ain't my thing. You know what I'm saying? I ain't really.
So what did you do in that state, Charles? I'm asking now at this point because I'm like, what are you supposed to do? If I'm inviting you and you could come with me.
Yeah,
if you so interested in missing me, we could be together in the same place under the same roof.
Yeah, but I didn't. Church ain't my thing. I had a bad experience at church back in the past, so church just ain't my thing.
And I'm gonna tell you, every church ain't the same.
Well, yeah, I understand that. I know that, but I'm speaking from a perspective of like you're saying you want a guy who's attentive to you, right? Right.
Right.
And this guy, even when you're not in his presence, he's showing you that attentiveness, right? And because he didn't do what you wanted to do in terms of going to church, you're like, instead of looking at it, it's about perspective. Instead of looking at it and saying like, damn, I'm in church and he hit me up, he must really miss me. You looking at it like, damn, nigga, you could have came with me. But if I didn't want to go the same way you had a right to go, I had a right.
But see, and that's the thing. See, and I'm also a person of balance. Like, okay, so I can go. I went to church.
Mm-hmm.
At the church, normally I'm drained after church, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he like, hey, I'm shooting some hoops. Like, I'm at the court. You gonna come by? I say sure.
Okay.
And I go by. Okay. Regardless of how tired I am. I know I want to be in the bed. I go by and sit down, watch them shoot some hoops. I made a sacrifice. Yeah, I didn't have to go there, right?
You did, and I don't disagree with you that he could go to church with you, right? But what my point is that even though he chose to not go, right, and he's no longer present, he's texting you. You got something, Dr. J? I heard some road. I heard a good year.
Yeah, I'm gonna hear this.
No, I just think I'm talking. I just think that, and this is me personally. I think that, and I'm not discrediting you saying that you made a sacrifice. I think that you going to the basketball court and him going into church are two different sacrifices. That's just me, because I feel like religion, you can go on for so long about how deep it go when somebody don't go to church.
Right. But see, I'm not even that person. I was just saying it because I'm like, you can call me and like I ain't say text. Like, he really calling, my phone is like going off in church. And I'm like, why? You could have now if he would have texted me, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. But you calling.
I guess my perspective, what I'm saying is you can look at that as him being an annoying person. I
didn't look at him as being annoying.
You can look at his actions as being annoying. Like, because essentially the way you put it made if I were him, right, I would be like, I must be annoying her. If I heard you say it the way you just put it, I'd be like, I'm annoying her by calling her while she's in church, right? So my point, I'm just telling you how I would look at it as a married man who's clingy, right? I would look at it whether I wanted to go to church or not, right? I'm gonna tell you, if I call you while you're in church and then I know that that's your response, I'm going to be like, I'm annoying her, right? And what I'm saying is that you can still change your perspective, because we don't have the power to help other people make people take their power back. You have to take your power back, right? Mm-hmm. So if this is someone that you genuinely like and have an interest in, and all of that stuff, and all of these things are working. And the one thing that he's doing at that point in time that's bothersome to you is calling you while you're in church. It could be bothersome, but you could also have the perspective that, like, yeah, my man missed me. My man liked me.
Yeah, I just was like, dang, like, I'm in church. Like, can I call you when I'm done or whatever? Like, he like, all right, go ahead. I'm like, okay. Like, I don't know. I thought in the moment, like, okay, maybe, I don't know if the last time we been at church, but church normally ain't 15 minutes or 20 minutes long these days. It's like really long, especially the church I go to. It's long with it. I try to make the sacrifice, but then it's like, okay,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna miss church completely. That's one thing I don't want to do.
I
But
not, I don't think you should. What I'm saying is that events are just events.
right,
Our perspectives about events are what dictate how we go about living our lives, right? So, I mean, if you tell me you're going to church, I'm probably not going to call you. I'm going to let you do what you do unless I absolutely need to talk to you about something. But what I'm saying is that him calling you while you're in church, and we're assuming that he's not controlling and all of these other things,
no, he's not.
that good stuff. What I'm saying is that what underlies all of that is the fact that he likes you and he misses you. And that's actually beautiful, no matter how annoying it is. It's beautiful that your kids want to hang out with you, even though they can't. It's beautiful that people admire us, even when we are busy doing other things.
Mm.
While there is and will be a level of, like, I told this nigga I was going to praise the Lord today. There also needs to be an acknowledgement of the fact that, damn, like, he really likes me.
I guess I could look at it. I really didn't look at it like that, but I wasn't really bugged. I was like, I just told him I was gonna be in church most of the day.
Yeah, so I mean,
that's all I said. I mean, I wasn't like I wasn't really like irritated about it. I was just like, I told him I was gonna be in church today.
Keisha said, but you knew I was in church. Text me so I would see during or after, but don't blow up my phone in church. It's respect. Yeah, and I'm not giving y'all pushback at all on the idea that it's inconsiderate, it's disrespectful, and all of those things. But what I'm saying is that you can almost always shift your perspective in a way that is progressive and beneficial, assuming this is someone that you want things to work out with. So if you were going to have that conversation when he came home, of course you're going to hit him with the, man, you knew I was in church. But it would be beneficial also when you have that conversation to say, listen, I missed you too. And since you called me, it's obvious you miss me. And I appreciate that you miss me. Right. All of those things, because I think what happens a lot of times is we have a negativity bias, which hinders us from seeing the whole picture. We only see the part of the picture that gives us an emotional charge or the higher emotional charge. And people are better able to receive criticism when we give them credit for the things they deserve credit for and criticism where they deserve criticism. So now you have a whole picture. So when it happens, you can be irritated and appreciative at the same time. It creates a better feeling than just like, told us, I'm going to church, man.
See, but I ain't even said like that when I saw it. I just was like, I told him I was going to be in church today. Is something wrong? Like, my brain goes to, like, what's wrong? Is everything okay? Do I need to really call him back? Because, it's not really, like, irritating. And I'm working on that because of the relationship that I was in the past. I would get the phone calls and it wouldn't be good phone calls. Yeah. So I always feel like that I got to return the call ASAP to make sure everything is good. But then I had to rewind my brain and say, they are not the same people.
And then you went out past the usher and called him. And he was like, I just wanted to check on you. You were like, what?
No, I wouldn't even said that. Like, when I got out of church, I called him back and he was like, I was just checking on you,
Oh.
And I was like, oh, I appreciate it. But I was in church, and he was like, I see. Did you enjoy service? And I was like, yes. And he was like, so am I going to see you today? I said, I guess. Where you at? And he said, he's still at the court. I had my son that day and we got something to eat and we went to the basketball court.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I know you see me up in the corner laughing, Charles. Roy, like, they had breaks at church. So you going to get a call.
No, we don't have, not at my church. We don't have any breaks. Come
he said
to my
it's
church.
An 11 o'clock service and a 3 o'clock service. You going to get a call.
No, my church don't have no breaks like that. It really don't. We go in at 10 or 11, I think. It's 11 service, so the 11. They wanted to be there at 10:30.
Mm.
And sometimes you think you're gonna get out at 1 o'clock. Not in there. Sometimes you don't leave at 2. Sometimes you don't leave at 3.
Hey,
We only do one offering.
hey, Jesse.
Yes.
I gotta go to work tonight, so we gotta start shutting this thing down, right? So,
Okay.
do you have anything in closing about nice guys, bad guys, indecisive guys, uninteresting guys, or the fact that Erika's guy, Erika's guy, calls while she's in church?
What was that last thing you said? Erika's guy is what?
Calls while she's in church. Do you have anything on anything that we've discussed?
Yeah, absolutely. So in closing, I do not think nice guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, in closing, I do not think that nice guys finish last simply because they are nice. I think there is more to the story than them being nice. I think it's a myriad of reasons that come before them being nice, being the reason why they're being chosen last. Whether it be they are uninteresting, inconsiderate, they lead with their money, indecisive. It could be a number of reasons, and they're masking all of that under I'm a nice guy. And
Oh,
also, nice is relative. Like, nice to who, you know? So, and the other thing, I think why the men that are more interesting that we're labeling as bad guys are being chosen prior to I do a lot of events where I work with singles. I host events for singles. And so in my research, I've learned that it really takes 4 minutes for somebody to decide whether or not they're interested in you. So if a man, quote unquote, we're labeling as a nice guy, cannot express to you that they're interesting, they are going to not be chosen before the quote unquote bad guy that's more interesting. And maybe perhaps later on in life, if they decide to consciously couple with the guy that's more interesting, their lives, there's not really, there's toxicity, there's no balance, there's trauma or whatever that happens. You know, your mind goes back to what you've experienced prior to. So you think about a little black book. I don't know if I'm showing my age, but if y'all had a little black book, like if something doesn't work out with somebody else, you're going to go back and go through a little black book and see, well, who was available? What was this person like? And coincidentally, it could be that they were a nice guy, but you know, I think when you get older, like the list that you have as a woman or anybody gets shorter and shorter because you get more realistic because you're more exposed to what the reality of life is. And so you're like, do I really need a guy that's 6'4", or do I prefer that he's kind to me, he's gentle to me, he allows me to be vulnerable and to express my feminine side? You know what I mean? So I think all of those things come with age, experience, but I don't think it's black and white. You're picking a bad guy versus a good guy. I think it's, is that person good for me? Is that person good for the life that I want to live? Am I somebody that wants to live a life of value, or do I want to live a life of passion, or do I want somebody that can do both, a little bit of both, you know? So I don't think it's black and white, like good guy, bad guy, they finish last.
okay.
Sorry, long-winded.
No, it's all good. I appreciate you, and I think you bring the realistic aspect to the conversation, the real life aspect, of it to the conversation. I just think that those guys, like myself, who are nice guys, but you're not really just gonna run all over, are a lot more difficult to find. So, and that's what creates the even more of a disparity. But all right, Jesse, I appreciate you as always. Love you. I'm loyal to you. All of that good stuff. The love and loyalty episode was great. All right,
Yes, yes.
follow.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
If anybody's single and you're in the DMV,
Hold on. Go ahead.
thank you. If anybody's single, if it's okay, Chels, if anybody's single and you live in the DMV, I'm having a singles mixer on the 2nd of December. Click the link in my bio. Consider following me. And it's going to be a really good time.
Amazing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Singles mixer, December 2nd.
December 2nd,
What time?
6 p.m. we start.
What's the location?
It's in Northeast DC.
Okay, cool. So if you're in the DMV, December
Mm-hmm.
2nd at 6 p.m.,
6 p.m.
What day is it on?
click the link in Jesse's
It's
bio.
a Friday.
Find your person. It's meet your person.
All right.
I'm gonna put the link right now if I can.
Yeah, put it in there and then I'll pin it.
It was on my page, my story as well.
Thank you. Yes, it was. Thank you, love.
Yes, I'll do
man,
it again, honey.
you gotta get you a bit.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, Jesse, appreciate you.
Bye. Thank you.
Later. Arika,
Yes.
you have anything in closing?
Not really. I mean, she covered all aspects of it. I just know now, like I do it anyway, to basically change my perspective on things and like give people a chance.
Yeah,
I'm very quick to like dispose of people because it's not what I want or what I expect.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and I just believe in true, real connections. Like I don't know, like I've met someone before where the connection was there, like there, and then it just I don't know what happened.
Exactly.
But then now it's like, okay, I got someone. I mean, I talked to someone. I don't think we're official, but he's cool. And I just know to like just change my perspective and just take my time and give people a chance.
Okay, so I'll give you a metaphor in my mind that kind of could be applicable, right?
Okay.
When you talk about the connection is like hitting the lottery, right? We don't really have control over the connection.
Are you right?
The connections just happen. I went into 7-Eleven, the computer picked some numbers, and now I'm a millionaire.
Right.
That should be great, right?
Yes.
But the chances of that happen are like 1 in 200 something million, right?
Yes.
But what's more likely is that I wake up, I go to work, I go to a job that I don't particularly have a desire to go to day in and day out, or I start a business that I enjoy doing but requires a whole bunch of other things that I don't enjoy doing, and I build it from the foundation, from the ground level. And if it would be nice to have an instant connection, but what is more likely to have longevity is if we work and create a connection, because once we create it, we know how to get it back. If we just were, if $1 million just befell us, we wouldn't know what to do with it. We wouldn't know how to keep it. And that's why these really good chemical relationships that start off from the jump, they fizzle out because there was never any need to build the chemistry in the first place. But once we know how to build the chemistry and we fall back a little bit, we know what it takes to continue this thing, keep this thing going on and on. So just something to think about. But I'm gonna let you slide off. I'm gonna talk to Keisha for a couple minutes and then I'm gonna slide off because I got appreciate you. Arika.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Peace.
Peace to you.
All right. So Keisha.
Yes, bro.
I'm not trying to short your time because I know you haven't been on social media a lot.
No, you gotta go to work. I already understand.
I got
you know
about 10 minutes for you. So what do you have on nice guys and bad boys and all in this whole rigmarole of a conversation?
It's good to say. It sounds great. But when it comes to nice guys and bad boys, who can give a definitive of who's on one side and who's on the other? I've been there dealing with the nice guys and the bad boys. I've experienced them both. I've had some which went to nice guys to bad boys and bad boys to nice guys. It's not even being necessarily interested in either one. Like I said in the comments, it's about the energy for me. And no, sometimes the sparks don't just initially go off, but it's just like the energy and the feeling. And as time goes on, the consistency of it all, that you can see whether you liked it or not, or if I still don't like it, or oh, okay, I didn't expect this. So I sometimes think nice guys have not found themselves. They just want someone, and they are willing to do anything and everything to make this person happy to have them. And I say that because I've dealt with them. But then you really do have the genuine nice guy, and he is amazing to have. And the only thing that I will ask for him is nothing for me, for him to know who he is as a man and develop and grow on that, his likes, the things that he wants, what he wants to do, having a voice for himself, because sometimes nice guys get caught up in pleasing other people and they forget themselves until one day this light switch goes off and it's like, no, I want this, I like this, I want to do that. So I feel like people in general should get to learn and know themselves and be comfortable with that. Like sit in it, like the jacuzzi that you've been waiting to sit in, the bubbles and all of that. Like just be sitting in the happiness of yourself and still be a nice guy, but have it be a line to where you are able to be upfront and say what you like to do, what you want to do. I don't want to be in a relationship with Keisha. And it sounds great because I used to joke when I was younger about the Keisha show. I was always about people who were just about Keish. But no, I want to be about someone as well. So I feel like it should be a happy medium to it all. Keep being nice, but have that come from a genuine place, but also understand who you are as a person and what you want and what you like and the things that you want to do. And know that it's okay if someone is not okay with it, or you're not always going to do what somebody else wants. Introduce what we're going to do. And there's a way of doing all of this, and I'm sure that's a whole nother show because I'm coming in on the end, and you know my energy is always super high. But that's pretty much, because I had a nice guy who was super nice. Like he was doing everything right. It seemed like everything was about me. And then one day it was like a light switch went off and he just changed. And he became the bad guy in my eyes. So in my eyes, it's always like, what is the nice guy? What is the bad guy? So yeah.
So one of the things about men, right? I could be wrong about this, right? But I think that men have, let me get my chair together.
Come on.
How'd I put this? Men have more of a responsibility to provide.
Mm-hmm.
Because men have more of a responsibility to provide, we don't so much have as much space or leeway to go and find out who we are.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter that I like doing podcasts. It doesn't matter that I like hooping. It doesn't matter that I like rapping. It doesn't matter that I like history. My young black 20-year-old ass has to get up and go to work. And because society and women value me based on what I can provide, I don't have time to really be spending a lot of time finding out who I am, right? And I promise I'll respond. And I think, and I'm talking from my experiences, because I didn't find out until I was 39, which is last week, right? What I'm doing, right? I've been here for 40 years, right? Oh, I'm really good at this thing, right? So all before that, I was doing things that I had to do in order to survive, to meet expectations, and to be valuable to a woman, to society. And the things that I knew that I liked, they didn't bring revenue. Right? So
I got you.
And I'm not disagreeing with you at all, because once I find out what it is that I like to do, I'm gonna do it. I don't care what your perspective is. You can think whatever you want. I'm doing this, right? Because I just spent the last 9 years doing what I had to do. And it took me to get to the point where I can do what I want to do. So now that I can do what I want to do, I'm doing what I want to do. And there's not a lot of negotiational comment. Now, the way in which I do it, we could talk about that, right? But I'm doing this. So I just think that that's an aspect of the conversation that probably is kind of just in the dark, that we don't
It
really.
very much so is. It very much so is. I understand the platform that men have to perform. And I totally understand it and I totally get it. And that's why I feel like when you take the time not to want to just have someone around, not to just want to people please, I feel like passively you can figure things out. And I say that because men feel this way and some women feel this way because we did not have a man in our lives to guide and to lead. We may not have been in the best relationships. We had to do exactly what you're doing. And I feel like that is on a different level. That's a whole nother show, right? So it's like I am trying to take care of children, please the men that I have introduced into my life and the world. And I'm not doing exactly what I want to do or what I feel as though is my true self or figuring myself out. And it, like you said, 39, 40. I told you 40 about to be sweet, my bro. Like I told you that it's about to be great. I told you this. Like it goes on both sides. So it's like for the men and the women, Mars and Venus, to understand each other, we have to come to a common ground at the end of the day, because if we want to grow and flourish from this point, we have to understand each other without both of us talking at each other and getting nowhere. So when it comes to what you just said with men, we definitely have to think of that. And I've said this before, the strong person, you never think that they need any help, any assistance, any ask them how their day is going. You never initiate these things with a person that you feel is strong, because you feel as though they already have it all together. Now, you done brought me in the end here, and I know that I can talk the talk, and I know you got to go to work, and I need you to be on point and safe, officer.
Oh, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Keisha, can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear her? What happened? Keisha, can y'all hear Keisha? We didn't hear
Could you hear
anything.
me?
No, we didn't hear anything you
Oh
said.
my God. Okay, somebody was calling me. I said I'm going to shut it down right there because I know you need to go to work and you've been on here since 5:30. But if you want to do a part 2, I'll be ready. Let me know so I could come in, because you know my energy is like, and I'll just be going on and on and on. But at the end of the day, I think we need to respect sides, because one, in a relationship, we have both sides. So we have to learn to listen, understand, comprehend each side, and we need to find a common ground that we can keep going. Men feel the way they feel. Women feel the way that they feel. When it comes to nice guys and bad boys, I don't think that that's a very definite line. I feel like some women may give you the answers that you've gotten tonight is because we have imposters and we really have nice guys. So the imposters, oh, they're lurking. They're out there everywhere, im- imposing to be nice guys. And then something else comes on, and then you encounter a really nice guy, and it's like, oh, he has a mission, he has a plan, he need to figure his life out. I don't have no time for this. He needs to figure it out. A woman will love a man, and I'm gonna end it with this. A woman loves a man who is going to love and respect her. And what did you say earlier in your message? Validation. That validation, right? But he still needs to be within himself. He still needs to learn and to grow. And if it takes a great woman for him to come across to help him with that, we're mothers. We got that. We can do it. And it's not me mothering you or telling you what to do. It's me supporting you, giving you the time to take off your hat of having to be what the world wants you to be, and allow you to be you.
Well, I would say this, because I like everything you said.
Mm-hmm.
You think, like, let's say you have the guy who's, and when we say he's nice, we mean like he's a good person, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's a good person, but he has those qualities of a nice guy that are undesirable. He's indecisive. Right? He's uninteresting.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The way in which, in my opinion, to approach that from a woman's perspective is, see, in my opinion, like, women have to realize the power of feminine, of the divine feminine energy.
Yes.
And that's what, because men take a lot of flack for the way society is and things like that. But a lot of women, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot. And you can no stack, but a lot of women not learn how to walk in their divine feminine energy. Because when you learn how to walk in your divine feminine energy, you can actually help that man become interesting. You can help become decisive. You can help that man find out who he is. Actually, if you really want to go deep into like the Bible and religion, the lost scrolls, what I forget what they call them, the Book of Thomas and all of those things, God wasn't just the father. It was the father, mother, right? God has a divine feminine and a divine masculine. So
come on,
if you happen to come across the guy that you like, but he's uninteresting or whatever, and all of these things, especially if you early on in life, it may benefit you if you have the divine feminine energy to use that to, for lack of a better word, show him who he is. Show him his kingship and all of those. And then you will never really have to worry about any of the other women getting him, because you are the one. I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story and then I'm gonna sign off, right?
Yes, come on. And then please, we have to do this again later, because I have so much to say.
But tell you about a moment in my life when I came to more of a realization of what I am. And this is on a deep level. This doesn't involve any other humans. Right. I used to meditate when I lived by myself in my apartment. I could meditate for like 2, 3, 4 hours at a time. Right. And I had got to the point where I could meditate and I could start to see these forms. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, that's like a bunny rabbit. What's up, Julie? Julie Bean. Matter of fact, Julie Bean, this joint will be on YouTube tomorrow morning.
Hey, Jules.
And y'all can watch the replay. IamChellsX, Mars Mindset. Search that on YouTube. It'll come. So I'm in meditation, and these shapes and these forms, and I'm beginning to be able to tell you what they are. Like, oh, that's a bunny rabbit. Oh, that's this and that's that. And then this face just comes like boom, and it's a feminine. It's a woman, right? It's a woman. It's just her head, and I can sense that she has like a body, but I can't see it, right? But then I could sense that she like takes like a crown and puts it on my head. Right? And she said something. I wrote it in one of my songs. I can't remember exactly what she said, but she basically was like, like, you are the one. That was her sentiment, right? And that's when I kind of came to the realization of how powerful the divine feminine was. So I say that to say that, and she looked like Isis. Once when I went back and did like some research, I looked at some pictures. I'm like, it's probably my subconscious or something. The Isis, right? The Egyptian goddess. And that's when I kind of came to the realization, like, yo, women are really powerful. And I think that women were more tapped into their divine energy, they could actually help men, the masculine, who they are. That's what the Isis story is about. Like, she scours the earth to find the shaft of her slaughtered husband and puts it back together and all of this stuff. So either which way, y'all look like to. I can't tell the story because I didn't write it, but it's really dope. I did get the crown. And yeah, I think that in closing, I would say this. The reason nice guys finish last, like Jesse said, and like everyone else said, not necessarily because they're nice, it's because they have these other qualities that are not that great. But if you are grounded in your divine feminine energy and you think this man is worth it, you may be able to pour into him and show him his kingship, his divine. And then from that point forward, he will be yours. So,
definitely.
So for my nice guys out there, Stop being indecisive. Make a decision. Find something interesting. Talk about it. Plan the date. For my women out there, find your divine feminine energy. Use it to help other people and all of those things. And through doing that, you know what it'll help you do? What will it help you do, Keisha? Take your power back. Peace.
Take your